Okay, so I just made a few videos encouraging viewers to pay attention to some of these Mandela effects in the 1939 movie The Wizard of Oz, because I don't think this movie is done changing yet, because it continues to change my experience. Even while doing research for making these videos, I noticed even more changes. So I'm going to continue on here and highlight how some of these Mandela effect changes are affecting major brands like Hallmark and the products that they produce. And it's a source of great irritation for some people who are very enthusiastic about collecting the stuff that they make and the details regarding the, whatever the subject in pop culture that is that they're making a memorable collectible for. So let's look at Dorothy and her socks. Now, this is something that, who's going to pay attention to Dorothy's socks? Well, apparently there's a fair number of people who do, and some are calling this a Mandela effect, that they are now blue. And I would say that doesn't look right. White looks more correct, in my opinion. And there's major inconsistency, not just with Hallmark products, but many others in depicting the color of Dorothy's socks. Now, they've only been one color in the movie, and some other patterning too. I think, I don't know what's going on with some of these figurines, but I don't recognize the pattern that's on Dorothy's dress. There, the socks are white. This one, not really sure. I think it's white. Blue, blue, white, blue, white, blue, very blue, white. This is interesting. Hire Dorothy for a kid's birthday party. Well, she better be wearing the correct socks, because white is not correct. There's another Hallmark figurine. Most of these are Hallmark, and there's a pretty even alteration between white and blue. And here's the socks from The Wizard of Oz. All right, now let's move on and take a look at some of these videos from the TikTok channel The Oz Vlog, and see what you pick out here.
Yes, it's true. Dorothy's socks in The Wizard of Oz are blue, not white. This is one of those weird internet Mandela effects, but even the folks who own The Wizard of Oz have gotten it wrong. This is an official image from the 75th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz, and look at those socks, Warner Brothers, white. But as you can clearly see from the actual film, her socks are blue. And even though they are blue in the film, sometimes even in the merch, they end up white. Hallmark is certainly not the only manufacturer who's gotten it wrong. Other companies are also guilty of this. But Hallmark gets it wrong on a pretty consistent basis. Come on, do better. Blue socks! Yes, it's true. It's a good likeness of Judy Garland. I wouldn't say it's great. Oh, and you know how I feel about the white socks. They're blue, Hallmark. It's lightweight. You'll definitely be able to hang it on a tree, even if the branches... Per usual, the ruby slipper one is my least favorite. They tend to feel a little generic for me. This is a good likeness of Judy Garland, but I feel like this needs a lot more poppies. And Hallmark. White socks? What the heck? The Mandela effect continues. But the winner in this group for me...
It's just so crazy to see a Dorothy doll from Wicked. Like, I will say,
Right.
I was shook.
It's kind of surreal.
White socks. Whoops.
Why does she have white socks?
Whoops. It's not in the film. She has blue socks.
Well, that's weird.
Blue sock purists are enraged.
So maybe they're... I'm part of the blue sock purist brigade.
So one person's source of irritation is another person's sense of relief when they see evidence of a reality that they once remembered. All right, let's move on to some other Wizard of Oz collectibles, like this one, Wizard of Oz Click and Wish Kit. Now, this appears to be in reference to the ending of the movie where Glinda tells Dorothy to, as what we remember, click your heels together 3 times and say there's no place like home in order to get back to Kansas. However, the actual line in the movie is tap your heels together. This is a Mandela effect. Now, the back of this box says the Good Witch pointed out she need only click the heels of her ruby slippers together and wish. That is incorrect. It should be tap her heels. And Hallmark is also affected by this Mandela effect. When she clicks their heels together 3 times and recites. Now let's focus in on this word, recite. click your heels. Click your heels. It should be tap your heels. Ruby slippers. Click together. I mean, that's what we remember from the movie. It was click your heels together. Now, I taped this movie on VHS. It was one of the first movies I taped off a TV with a VCR back in the 80s. And I watched it many times. I know it was click your heels together. And this one, this is also by Hallmark. They've been saying click in the other packages. Now they actually get it right. Tap your heels together 3 times and think to yourself. Wait, I thought it was say. Does she actually say think in the movie? Let's take a look.
Tap your heels together 3 times and think to yourself, there's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Well, B, she actually says think to yourself. Now, how do we, I don't know, how do I know it wasn't that all along? I'm not really sure, but I went and just, looked up heels together and no place like home. Those 2 quotes, what comes up most often? Well, most people put that together with heels together and saying there's no place like home. Heels together and say it with me. Heels together and say, heels together and repeat, there's no place like home. So this is all associated with that line in The Wizard of Oz. Heels together and repeated, there's no place like home. Say, nobody's saying think. So I kind of think that think to yourself is also maybe a new Mandela effect. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. Now, let's move on to some other Hallmark misquotes from well-known movies. Yet they are very much in line with the Mandela effect on these subjects. The evil queen from Snow White. Here she is on this Hallmark figurine. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Well, she actually says magic mirror on the wall in the actual Disney film. So Disney trademarked merchandise marketed by Hallmark saying mirror, mirror on the wall. And this ornament from Hallmark says the lion will lie down with the lamb, just like many of us remember in the Bible. And that's no longer there anymore. Really, this should be a wolf and a lamb, because the source of this verse now says wolf and a lamb, not lion. And I like this one because it actually features the actual voice of what sounds like James Earl Jones saying, "Luke, I am your father," on this Hallmark keepsake, and they quote it on the back. The ornament plays Darth Vader's powerful words in 2 parts. Press the button on the base of the ornament to hear each part. Luke, I am your father. Now in the movie, he just says, "No, I'm your father." He never says, "Luke, I'm your father." So, yeah, that's what I got here. Let me know what you think about some of these Mandela effects related to Wizard of Oz and Hallmark keepsakes. Are you irritated like some of these people are that Hallmark is not faithfully reproducing some of the subject material? Or are you like me and some other folks, very relieved that this actually reinforces the memories that we say we have about these subjects? Let me know in the comments. Thanks.